Now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. A local group committed to feeding seniors faces funding uncertainties. And it's been 1 year since the Baltimore Bridge collapsed. We'll tell you when they expect to build a new bridge. Plus, one state moves to ban artificial food dyes. Those details are just ahead.
And we've been very patiently waiting for rain for about 2 months at this point, and maybe we should be careful what we ask for because we have some possibly flooding, excessive rain coming our way, and you're not going to believe what the National Weather Service thinks the totals are going to be. We'll look at all that in the weather coming up.
Multiple Crossroads team playing area round playoffs last night. We'll see how they did later in sport.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Happy Wednesday and hope you're having a great start to your morning. It is National Spinach Day, so I have a little jingle.
What is it? Go ahead.
It's Parker the Weatherman.
Oh,
Parker the Weatherman.
Yes.
We were just talking about how much we love spinach.
That's right.
It took some time to get there, but today is a spinach day, so be sure
right.
to enjoy a nice healthy snack.
And I'll tell you, those spinach plants, if they're going to be growing today, they're going to be loving on that water because that's exactly what is coming on our way over the next 72 hours. It's not raining right now. We're going to look at that radar here in just a second, but what you're seeing on your screen is an alert day, the details at least for what we're going to be expecting for the next 72 hours. Alert day is going to go for Thursday and Friday. Technically, it's going to also go for really late tonight, but it's really going to go for the days of Thursday and Friday because the rain will start tonight. But what y'all can expect is, like I said, all week long, very heavy rainfall, and we're talking very, very heavy rainfall. 2 to 7 inches is possible in most of our counties. That's what most of us will expect, but some of us will see much higher than that. We'll look at that later because right now in Victoria, you can see it's not raining and it's also not foggy. It's 67 though. It's a little bit warm out there actually. And it is very humid. Dew point's matching that, bringing us 100% humidity, which is enough for fog. And we actually do have a little bit of patchy fog in some areas of the Crossroads this morning. It's actually a little bit underestimated here on the visibility map. So just be careful if you're traveling this morning. Radar, that's looking nice and clear, but I promise that is going to look completely different later. And we'll look at that later on the show because if you're seeing your kiddos at the door this morning, it's just like it is right now, but it's going to be another warm and bit of a wet afternoon. Bring that umbrella. We'll look at those details coming up next.
An increasing need along with funding uncertainties could impact Meals on Wheels South Texas. Dan Capone, president and CEO of Meals on Wheels South Texas, says the closing of other area food programs increased the number of clients they serve. Plus, his organization's coverage area expanded from just Victoria County to now all of DeWitt County, and rural Goliad County this expansion has also impacted the budget, and that could just be the beginning.
Once the public health emergency ended, the funding has come down. We're back now to sort of 2019 levels of funding and actually a little reduction from there. But the number of seniors we're serving has increased.
Capone also says that possible DOGE cuts could reduce funding by an additional 40%. Even if these cuts were to happen, Capone says they'll remain open. Meals on Wheels South Texas is always looking for volunteers to take part in serving. The City of Victoria will host 2 information sessions on the proposed expansion of the Victoria Community Center. Its first session is planned from 5:30 to 7:30 Monday, March 31st at the Community Center. Residents can see renderings of the proposed expansion and renovation, speak to city officials, and ask questions. City Council is asking voters to pass a 5% vehicle rental tax and a 2% hotel occupancy tax. Neither will affect residential property taxes. It's been a year since the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed in Baltimore. The entire 1.6-mile structure crumbled into the water below after a cargo ship hit it. 6 construction workers who were filling potholes at the bridge at the time died. But the death toll could have been much higher had the incident taken place during the day instead of at 1:30 a.m. Construction on a new bridge is expected to begin in the fall. It's slated to take about 3 years. And now to a story about children's health and the biggest step yet toward banning artificial dyes in snacks, cereals, and candies. One state is taking a stand, but at what cost?
You can say goodbye to Gatorade, certain kinds of lemonade, even some types of Pop-Tarts if you live in West Virginia. Store shelves and school lunches will soon look a lot different there. That's because the governor has signed a bill that will ban commonly used food dyes and preservatives from red dye number 3 to blue dye number 1. In recent years, advocates have raised concern about how artificial dyes may be affecting the health of children.
There is this notion that artificial food dyes may affect some children more than others, potentially those with ADHD and other sensitivities, but more research is certainly warranted. There have been studies in animals where specifically red dye 3 has been associated with thyroid tumors in rodents, but really at the low levels we're being exposed to at normal human consumption is likely very, very low risk for most people.
But Health Secretary Robert Kennedy has been outspoken against processed foods and additives.
Why do we have Fruit Loops in this country that have 18 or 19 ingredients, and you go to Canada and it's got 2 or 3?
Just last week, Virginia banned synthetic dyes in school lunches following a similar move in California. They joined more than 20 other states introducing legislation targeting food dyes. But critics say West Virginia's ban is too widespread and will drive up already high grocery prices.
60% of the grocery store shelves would have to be cleared if this bill went into effect today.
The American Beverage Association warning many good jobs will be lost and businesses will close. The takeaway for parents?
Artificial food dyes are not essential nutrients, so avoiding them certainly won't hurt you.
And natural options like turmeric or beets can be used to color food, but can be more expensive. West Virginia's ban on dyes in school lunches takes effect in August. It expands to all food products in 2028. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
An executive order President Donald Trump signed yesterday boosts proof of citizenship requirements for voting in federal elections. It faces legal hurdles, including a Supreme Court ruling that a generic voter registration form is sufficient. If you had to prove your citizenship to vote, here's what you'd have to do under the executive order. You could show your passport, military ID card, or qualifying state and federal photo ID. Otherwise, you'd need proof that complies with the Real ID Act of 2005. Remember, follow us on YouTube, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. The time is now, let's get a look at our clock. It's 6:37 on our Wednesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. A historic organization is making a comeback.
Several members of Congress, including some Republicans, are calling for an investigation into why top national security officials were discussing sensitive information over a group chat with a journalist in the chat. And Christiana Cordero with the details coming up.
And also coming up next after the break in the short-term forecast, the question is it going to rain? The answer is yes. Now, everybody wants to know how much is it going to rain? When's it going to start raining? How long is it going to rain? All those details coming up next. Well, good morning, Crossroads. I hope y'all are as excited as I am for some rain. And honestly, I think we should probably be careful, a little bit more careful next time for what we ask for, because we've been asking for some decent rain for ever since January 14th. That's the last time we had decent over half-inch of rain. Now, why do I say we need to be careful? Because here's the rainfall totals we're expecting. We have an alert day in effect for tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, really as early as late tonight, because that's when the rain's going to start. But we're looking for very heavy rainfall totaling up to 2 to 7 inches. And it's going to be higher than that, much higher than that in some areas of the Crossroads. And at least that's what the National Weather Service is thinking. We'll look at their forecast here later on the show, because where's all the rain coming from? Well, looking at your satellite, you can see we have an enormous amount of cloud cover starting to encroach into Texas, thanks to the Pacific jet stream. That's what this is actually right here. All that moisture is streaming into our upper atmosphere and at the surface too, thanks to a very weak low pressure system. Very, very weak. You can kind of see it spinning kind of clockwise right there. We've been talking about that all week long. Now, that system is going to keep moving eastward, more east-northeasterly over the next 72 hours before it finally exits Texas, going into the weekend time, where we finally see some sunshine and that's going to bring us rain for the next 72 hours. So get ready for it. If you don't have an umbrella, today is the time to buy one, because here's your future tracker. Here's your future radar. This is the North American computer model, and it thinks that there's going to be some rain, some heavy rain actually, in our southwestern counties today as early as 3 p.m. This is 3 p.m. Wednesday right here. Now I'm going to fast forward to play. Here's 6 p.m. this afternoon, or right around sunset, maybe an hour before. This computer thinks that there's going to be a little bit more rain right around this time, and I'm just going to press play, and you're going to see nothing but that. More and more and more and more and more rain all the way into Friday afternoon. Like I said, before that system finally starts pushing out and the rain will finally start letting up as we go into late Friday. But rainfall totals, like I said, we're looking at hefty totals as high as, like I said, as high as like 15 inches in our southern counties. We're going to look at that here in a second because, like I said, after that's all said and done, sunshine is back. All that coming up next.
All right, good morning, Crossroads. Last night we had some great soccer playoff action. First, we're going to start Victoria West. They face McCallum Knights at Giddings High School, and they're looking to move on. But early, though, McCallum would strike first, with Eleanor Wiseman getting the goal there, and the Knights would take the early 1-0 lead. But West couldn't get on the scoreboard after that. They lose this game at the end of the day, 2-0. West will end their year at 19-3-1 overall. Now over to Victoria East. They face Georgetown Eagles right after Victoria West at Giddings High School. And similar result there to West. They couldn't get the offense going for the Lady Titans. And at the end of the day, Georgetown would take advantage, winning 5-0. Goalkeeper Lydia Traxler for East did have 20 saves, but it was not enough for the victory. And East will end their season at 14-5-2. Overall, over to Bay City Lady Cats. They faced Salado Eagles at LaGrange High School last night, and Lady Cats started off fast, scoring at the 22-minute mark, but Salado would take the lead after that and score 7 unanswered, and they would win 7-2. Lady Cats season comes to a close. Now over to El Campo. They won over Giddings. Actually, there again, the team that just was playing, their hosts again for East and West in penalty kicks, with Cameron Phillips getting the winning PK there for El Campo, and they will be moving on playing the Hampshire Fannet Longhorns in the next round. This is Max Williams, 25, News Now Sports.
All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. President Trump is defending his top national security officials after the explosive lapse in national security, when officials were reportedly discussing classified U.S. war plans in Yemen over an unauthorized messaging app and with a journalist accidentally added to the chat.
This morning, questions are mounting over how a journalist with The Atlantic was added to a group chat with top national security officials ahead of the U.S. attack in Yemen, and why discussions about that chat were happening on the unauthorized messaging app Signal. The Atlantic's editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg says National Security Advisor Mike Waltz invited him to the group chat. President Trump standing by Waltz's side.
He's a very good man, and he will continue to do a good job.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth denies his role in the chat put American troops at risk.
Nobody's texting more plans. I know exactly what I'm doing.
The administration instead has repeatedly attacked Goldberg and The Atlantic, claiming it did not share classified information. Goldberg says he withheld publishing certain messages reportedly from Hegseth, sharing operational details, including precise information about weapons, targets, and timing.
Just because they're irresponsible with material doesn't mean that I'm going to be irresponsible with this material.
Democrats in Congress hammering the administration.
Where our pilots are going to be and when they're going to be there ahead of the operation. If they think that information isn't classified, then they are way crazy incompetent to do the job that they're supposed to be doing.
This sloppiness, this incompetence, this disrespect for our intelligence agencies and the personnel who work for them is entirely unacceptable. It's an embarrassment.
Several Republicans are also calling for more information.
I just want the administration and the individuals involved to be accountable and take blame or responsibility for the mistakes they made.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe were both on the group chat and are expected to be back on Capitol Hill today for a hearing with House members. They met with senators yesterday. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We want to know, should national security officials involved in the war plans group chat resign? All right, let's take a look. 58% of you say yes. 42% of you say no. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. A historic organization focused on voting is creating a presence here in Victoria before the May election. The League of Women Voters has origins from the 1920s. It's not the first time the League has had a presence in town. The group disbanded over 7 years ago due to a lack of volunteers. Now the League is returning. And Director Glenda Nicol is helping to lead the charge to provide nonpartisan election information to Victoria residents.
The League has a past history of being a great supporter for our community in Victoria. They have a good history as a well-respected organization. We went from 0 in October of last year. We've got 25 members now and growing.
The League creates a voter's guide to provide information on candidates and propositions. The group has a strict rule to not show direct support to any candidate or cause. The League of Women Voters is partnering with UHV for a candidate forum on campus on April 16th. It starts at 5:30 inside a Walker Auditorium. The group will release an updated voter's guide this Friday. The National Medal of Honor Museum in Arlington is now open to the public. The museum is devoted to telling the stories of those who have received the nation's highest military honor. It highlights the lives and service of Medal of Honor recipients from the Civil War to the global war on terrorism. Over 3,500 people have received the Medal of Honor, which is awarded by Congress for risking one's life in combat beyond the call of duty. The museum has a free entrance for veterans during its opening week. And the time is now, let's get a look at our clock. It is 6:47 on our Wednesday morning. Still to come on Sunrise. Dangerous wildfires in South Korea. How many are injured? We have the numbers coming up.
Get ready for the madness. Think you know college hoops? Prove it. Enter the Final Four Frenzy presented by Coastal Bend College. Put your bracket up against Sports Director Max Williams and Weekend Sports Reporter Ray Robinson. Dribble on over to crossroadstoday.com to enter on the contest page. Win it all and score a family 4-pack with a hotel stay and a round of golf for 2 at Moody Gardens in Galveston. The Final Four Frenzy presented by Coastal Bend College. Brackets lock soon. Enter now.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. I'm sure all of y'all are very anxiously and very patiently waiting, just like I am, for all the rain that's coming our way. But another thing I'm sure maybe y'all didn't know about this, so we also have a slight risk for severe weather that's going to be coming our way tomorrow as well. And alongside all the rain that's going to be dropping on all of us for tomorrow. But for today, here is your severe weather outlook. This is for today, Weather Wednesday. You can see we have that really light green. It's a level 1 out of 5. Marginal risk down here along the Rio Grande Valley, down part of West Texas and Laredo right underneath this banner right here. But as we go into tomorrow, Thursday, you can see we have a yellow. That's this color right here, level 2 out of 5 risk. That's a slight risk for severe weather down here. And that's actually going to encompass some of our counties, actually all of our counties, all the way up into Lavaca County and Gonzales County as well. And here are your main severe weather threats for tomorrow. They're all going to be really low threats, only with a level 2 out of 5 risk. The main threat's going to be large hail, only about an inch, I'm thinking, in maximum diameter, which might cause like a few scratches to your vehicle, maybe 1 or 2 tiny dents, but I don't think there's going to be too much big hail that's going to be about an inch in size. Most of it will be really small, like pocket change size. Everything else, maybe some damaging winds, maybe 50 to 60 miles an hour, which would prompt a special weather statement. And tornado risk, that's going to be very, very low, but also not impossible. So just make sure to be careful with that and but stay weather aware. But main risk, obviously, is going to be the heavy rain. Why? Because we have excessive rainfall outlooks issued by the National Weather Service. That's the little red bullseye you can see. This is a moderate risk, level 3 out of 4. 30% chance risk of seeing some excessive rainfall, totals over 5 inches. It's going to be much higher than our southern counties. We're going to look at that in a second because that will continue into Thursday and all the way into Friday before that system finally pushes out east, and we're looking at sunshine for the weekend. But with all that in mind, we already have flood watches in effect for about half of our counties. Northern counties, y'all are not included in that, but I promise y'all will get rain because here's the National Weather Service's rainfall outlook. your eyes do not deceive you. This is 10 to 15 inches in parts of Refugio County and around Rockport, with Victoria getting 4 to 6 inches. And we'll look at all that and more, though, coming up later on Sunrise.
In world news and breaking overnight, 8 people, including 5 children, were killed in overnight Israeli airstrikes in northern Gaza. A mother was killed with her 4 children, including a baby who was 6 months old. Several others were injured in the attack. At least 18 people have been killed and 19 others injured in South Korea as wildfires continue. The wildfires are fueled by dry air and strong winds in the country's southern regions. More than 10,000 firefighters, police, and civil servants have been deployed to multiple areas in the south since several of the fires have erupted over the weekend. As of Wednesday, the fires had burned nearly more than 43,000 acres of land. A doctor coordinating the Pope's hospital care said Tuesday that Pope Francis's medical team briefly considered suspending treatment. It came after a breathing crisis in late February, but the team decided on an aggressive course that put Francis's organs at risk. Dr. Sergio Alfieri said that the pontiff understood that he might not survive the night after the bronchospasm attack, during which the Pope inhaled vomit. Francis was released Sunday after 38 days. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. We take a look at just how many major disasters the country saw last year. The U.S. saw 90 declarations of major disasters in 2024, nearly double the average. The President of the United States can declare a major disaster anytime an event surpasses the ability of state and local government to respond. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says 27 of last year's weather and climate disasters caused more than $1 billion in damages. The CDC is pulling back $11.4 billion in COVID funding sent to health departments across the country. The Department of Health and Human Services confirmed that funds allocated in response to the pandemic would also be pulled from NGOs and international recipients. The funding slash comes on the heels of other cuts under the new HHS Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. As of yesterday, March 25th, you have just 3 weeks left to file your 2024 federal tax return. The deadline to file is April 15th. The IRS is encouraging taxpayers to be mindful of the impending deadline and to utilize digital tools on the IRS website to file their return. Taxpayers who miss the deadline could face late fees and interest. There's the option to request an extension, which would push the filing deadline to October 15th. Some Jewish Texans on Tuesday supported a measure to address a rise in anti-Semitism in schools, while others said it would not only stifle free speech but make them less safe. You can read this story by the Texas Tribune on CrossroadsToday.com. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's get a look at what could be a foreboding sunrise. It's quite cloudy out there, Parker. Is that because we're expecting rain?
That is right. We are expecting lots of rain actually at that as we start actually going into tonight all the way through Friday. It's going to be raining, so go ahead and grab that umbrella and keep it on you. Keep it like on your pocket side for the next 72 hours. You can see in Port Lavaca, not raining just yet. It's actually a little bit warm out there this morning. You can see with the cloud cover out there. We're starting out the day at about the low 70s, some of the upper 60s as well, so definitely no need for a jacket, but I do think you need your umbrella. You can see it's nice and clear on the radar right now, but I do think that is going to look totally different as we go into tonight. Actually, as early as maybe 6 or 7 p.m., we're going to start seeing some scattered showers and storms around the area, getting up to a high of, I'm thinking, 80 today in Port Lavaca. A little bit warmer in Victoria, I'm thinking 83, a little bit about the same timing for all the rain today. Maybe a few spotty showers and sprinkles in the mid-afternoon, and the same timing for all that in Cuero, about 82 for today. But like I said, this rain will be with us all the way through Friday, but after that's all said and done, guess what? The sun comes back out this weekend, and we're right back in the warm mid and upper 80s.
All right, I'm going to try to appreciate the rain while it's here.
I am as well. Lots of it coming.
All right, and thank y'all for being with us this morning. Join Shauna, Dawn, Maclovio, and Max tonight for 25 News Now at 5 and 10.
And stay safe.